Hello, hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys had a great weekend. For you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA videos. These videos they get posted to this Reddit. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions leading up to lock about the slate. That'll be linked down below. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on X right here. I also post sportsbook plays as well on there. So I'll have both those linked down below. And then if you're looking for more in-depth content where I give sportsbook plays, I can give you a sneak peek. Sportsbook plays right here. This is today so far. We're 5-1 so far to start today, but I give a lot of volume with sportsbook plays, player pools. Today, this is my core. We got off Quentin Grimes once he came off the bench as a core play, so we went with Kyler Kelly, Olivia Maxence, Prosper, Bane, Giannis, Flag Planted, Vooch, and then I also make videos as well, so that'll be linked down below. Let me just make sure before we get into the slate that I didn't miss any news. I don't think I did. We got a lot of news for tomorrow, but before we go over the slate, let's go over my lineups from yesterday. Can't show you my lineups from today because the slate hasn't fully locked yet. But yeah, pretty tilting day, even though I had a really good day yesterday. Let me explain why it was really tilting. And I had Nas Reed, right? I believe, did anyone fade Nas ahead of me? Okay, no one faded Nas, but if you take a look at this, LeBron James lost 5 minutes due to blowout. I was out of first by 3 points. Nobody had Nas Reed, or sorry, LeBron James ahead of me. And also, guy in first, Christian Braun. What is that game? What is that game? Did anyone else have Christian Braun? Josh Hart? Like, what are we doing? Just absurd. Yeah, if I got those 5 minutes from LeBron, would have had a fantastic. Probably bink that. Same thing with this. 19 points out of first. Nas Reed gets hurt, and Aaron Gordon. So if I just get like my medium projection from Aaron Gordon, people in this tournament didn't play Nas Reed. You can see there's a couple guys here without Nas. So if I just got like my medium projection from Aaron Gordon, like 24 fantasy points, this lineup would have done extremely, extremely well. So yeah, but this one hurts. LeBron getting pulled with 5 minutes left, losing by 3 fantasy points is just unfortunate. My core for this day was Nikola Jokic. Couldn't believe 50% faded him. SGA had him in this lineup. I did fade him in this lineup. So SGA, Jokic, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was core, and Rudy Gobert was core. So core was fantastic. And then yeah, let's get into this 7-game slate. It's going to be a hectic one, guys. There's going to be a lot of news. Make sure you're on Reddit to look at my updates throughout the day because it's going to be a wild one. All right, let's do the ritual. Sip a Gatorade, take a hit of the vape, and let's get into this. Washington, Charlotte. Like I said, Charlotte, I've been preaching of late. They've been a lot better defensively this year. Um, they're still pretty thin, though. They're going to be without potentially like Mitchell, Cody's out, LaMelo Ball's out, Trey Mann's out, Cody Martin's out. So they're somewhat thin. They still have like 10, 11 guys, but not normally when they're healthy. But yeah, good spots specifically here for Jonas Valanciunas. He should be able to have his way up against Mark Williams. Nobody played him here. I said it. If you want to go to him at low ownership in a really bad matchup that no one's going to play him, I think it's okay. Now you have a fantastic matchup going up against Charlotte and the price point drop. And this game should stay competitive. So Jonas is in a nuke spot tomorrow. If no one's going to play him because they've been burned the past couple slates, I'm going to be all over him if he's low owned. I think he's a fantastic play. I don't even mind like the main guys. I think Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma are both too cheap. I think both look like really solid point per dollar plays, especially in competitive games. The Wizards will just run their starters into the ground somewhat and play mid 30s minutes. So I do like the top three guys here quite a bit. Now we do have Malcolm Brogdon back, so that hurts a little bit. Just one more body in the rotation. Only played 21 minutes. I don't think he's DFS viable right now. And then Keyshawn George, we're just gonna have so much better value than this like grouping of like Keyshawn George, Corey Kispert, Bob Carrington. I don't think it's necessary to go there. Black Bali not in the best matchup. I think we'll just have better plays. So I think the main interest here for me is just like Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma, Jonas Valanciunas. Favorite being Jonas. I don't think it's a little bit close, but I think my favorite is just Jonas. All right, moving on to Charlotte. Big piece of news here. Mitchell is questionable. If he's out, we'll have to see who they start. Do they just throw KJ Simpson in the starting lineup? They could. I think regardless if Mitchell is out, I'm going to like KJ Simpson quite a bit. Not a bad point per minute guy. He'd have to play a ton here. So if Mitchell is out, I really like KJ Simpson for value. Not really too into like Josh Green. Moose is overpriced with Mark Williams back. If we get Mitchell out, Nick Smith Jr. I would like quite a bit. Miles Bridges I'm really high on. He would look better if Mitchell is out. He would have to do a ton more ball handling. Mark Williams is in a fantastic matchup. He's priced up though. If he's low owned, I really like him. I still think he's a solid play even at that price point. Not going to get into like Seth Curry, those type guys at those price points. Then yeah, if we get like Mitchell, I would assume Isaiah Wong's going to have to get dusted off at 3.2K. He'd be firmly in play for large field GPPs, and I think that's it. Now if we get like Mitchell, I still think we can consider some of these guys in a good matchup. I think Bridges still looks good. I think Mark Williams still looks really solid. Mitchell himself, now that the price points come down and the matchup's really, really good, I have no issue with that. Solid point per dollar play, been good of late as well. I believe he got hurt this game. Nick Smith Jr. would be playable, but now that the Mitchell and him are same price points, I prefer Mitchell. Like I said, I'm not going to get into like Josh Green. KJ Simpson would just be more large field at this price point. Now the price point's up with if Mitchell plays. But if Mitchell is out, like I said, I really like KJ Simpson. We'll see who starts though. All right, moving on to Atlanta. Capella and Bogey. Bogey is done. He played his last game as a Atlanta Hawk. He is absolutely cooked. Capella's still out. Trae Young is probable. Not a good matchup here going up against Detroit. They've been tougher, especially against like facilitating guards. I think the price point's still a little bit too cheap here on Trae Young. I think he's a good contrarian spend up. I don't think too many people are going to play him too much. I actually think point guards have been doing pretty well up against Detroit. So like might be a better spot than I'm thinking of. I'll do some research after this video for that. But yeah, I think the price point's too cheap. I don't mind him. You have like a lot of great spend ups on the slate. So he wouldn't be like as high up there in the pecking order for me. I think like, Jokic, SGA going up against the Bucks in a great matchup. You have Cade in a really great matchup. I like Wemby quite a bit. So it wouldn't be as high up there in the pecking order, but I still think he's a good spend up. Dyson is price right for my liking. Onyeka Okongwu should play around 30 minutes. I think the price point's about fair. Let's take a look at center. Once again, center is going to be pretty good on this slate. You have Cat, you have Jokic, you have Jaren potentially with no John Morant. You have Mark Williams there. You have Jalen Duren. You have Rudy Gobert. So yeah, you have Miles Turner in a okay matchup with going up against Walker Kessler. You have Jonas. Center is just loaded on the slate once again. So not a priority, but a fine play for me. I kind of like DeAndre Hunter at 5.8K. I think he's pretty sneaky tomorrow. And then I don't think I'm going to get to much else. Rishisher, fine contrarian value. You couldn't pay me to play like Larry Nance, Garrison Matthews. Dominic Barlow started last game. Only played 13 minutes. I don't know if I can do it. So it's mainly, I think, just for me, Trae Young, some interest in like Okongwu, and like Rishisher and large field GPPs. Mo Guy was a DMP last game. Moving on to Detroit. Fantastic matchup here. Should be a pace-up game for Atlanta. I played Cade in a lineup tonight. I absolutely love him once again tomorrow. I know the price point's getting up there, but once again, this is like his floor outcome. Shot 56% from the field, only 37% from three. Stuff with the stat sheet, only 4 assists. Like he could have had a bigger game. Oh, this was not today. Apologies. But still, he had like 55 fantasy points today, or like 52. But fantastic pace-up spot for him. Love me some Cade. Jalen Duren, he's been incredible of late. If you want to keep riding the hot streak, I think I slightly prefer Jalen Duren to Onyeka Okongwu. Tobias Harris had a really good game tonight. I think he's a fine safety play. If you need like a last piece in at that price point, I have no issue with that at all. And I want to mention Malik Beasley. She'll play low to mid 20s minutes in a fantastic matchup. He has a ceiling at that price point that's like kind of a little bit unmatched. I'm a little bit intrigued in large field GPPs. I'm not going to put like Tim Hardaway Jr. or Arthur Thompson. We're just going to have so much better value opening up later. And we do have Isaiah Stewart back, so like Paul Reed's not in play for me. All right, this could get hectic here. Sengun is questionable. If he is out, starters should be Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Tari Eason, Dylan Brooks. Wait, Amen 1, Jalen Green 2. Did I say Tari Eason? I'm stupid. Amen 1, Jalen Green 2, Dylan Brooks 3, Steven Adams 4, and like Aaron Holiday 5 would be my guess. So with Fred out and Sengun out, then Steven Adams at 4.3K is going to be a fantastic value. Aaron Holiday, if he starts, no issue with that. Reed Shepherd would be firmly in play at 3.4K. He'd have to get some run, so would like the guards there. Steven Adams would be the standout play. They'd have to play Cam Whitmore a bit more. Would like him for value. Tari Eason I would really like in GPPs. Then bumps to like Amen, Jalen Green, although not the best matchup here. I would prefer Amen to Jalen Green. And then if Sengun plays, not too in love with Sengun on the slate, Amen would be a downgrade, but still fine. Jalen Green, just iffy for me. Tari Eason wouldn't like as much. Dylan Brooks wouldn't like as much. Steven Adams would be out of play. I still think you can consider like Aaron Holiday and Reed Shepherd. Just keep an eye on the starting lineup, but I would suspect Aaron Holiday probably starts tomorrow. All right, moving on to the Knicks. We have Josh Hart questionable. Fully expect him to play. He's been questionable every game. OG Anunoby now on the injury report as well. If we get both of them out, though, for some reason, starters should be, I think they just throw Miles McBride and Precious in there and just run them into the ground would be my guess. Where's Precious? Here is a 5.1K. If that's the case, Miles McBride would be a really good value. Precious would be solid, although priced up. And then, like, more usage for, like, the main guys. Like, Cat's going to have a ton more rebounding opportunities. He would be a lot better. Mikal more priced up, but still fine. And then this price point on Jalen Brunson. Guards have been doing really well against Houston, so I kind of like Brunson tomorrow. And if we get both of them in, it's mainly just, like, Brunson, Cat, some interest in, like, Josh Hart. I think the mid-range guys are priced right, and I wouldn't really get to the value here. All right, Spurs, Wemby is questionable. He is going to travel with the team, but he is questionable. If we get him out, you should get the same lineup as yesterday, just throwing Charles Bassey into the starting lineup. But he played more than I thought he was going to play. He played 27 minutes. So, yeah, we get Charles Bassey starting. He's going to stand out as one of the better value plays in the slate. And it's just more bumps to like everyone else. Like Keldon would be a good value. Sochan would be firmly in play. Wouldn't be too excited about like Harrison Barnes, but Castle I would like. Devin Vassell would be a great play at 6K, so keep an eye on the Wemby news and keep an eye on the starters if they keep Bassey in the starting lineup. I apologize if there's some crying in the background. My youngest niece is over. Then if Wemby plays, it's mainly just some interest in Wemby and Vassell. I think those would be my two favorite plays. Both good plays. All right, moving on to Memphis. Got to keep an eye on John Morant. It's back-to-back here. I think we could potentially see someone else as well, but if John Morant's out, we know what to do. Then Bane looks great. Jaren will be a strong play. Santi Aldama I'd like for value. Luke Kennard would be a really solid value. They're starting to get priced up. It's still solid. Pippen would be playable. Jalen Wells would be okay. Brandon Clark's fine. Then if we get like John Morant in, I'm probably going to cross this team off outside of John Morant. Bane in play, of course. Oh boy. All right. They're all probable for tonight. I feel like some screwery could happen. I feel like they could punt this game tomorrow. We'll see. It's hard to go over right now. I can say if everyone's healthy in a really bad matchup, it's mainly just Giannis and Dame for me. If we get for some reason everyone out, then you know what to do. Then we're like jamming all these guys, all these shitters. So we'll see. We'll see if they punt. It's hard to go over right now, but I would suspect we'll just get news either later tonight or tomorrow, and I'll make updates on Reddit. It's hard to say, but if everyone's in, I'm really just interested in like Giannis and maybe some Dame. All right, OKC, big news here is Jalen Williams and Casey Wallace and Alex Caruso. If they're all out, once again, Casey got hurt during the game. I still think Aaron Wiggins is a really solid play at 5'3". They're just going to be so much thinner. They're going to have to play him a ton. Then Isaiah Joe would be a really solid value. Lou Dort would be fine. SGA would look fantastic in an amazing matchup. He'd be one of the better spin-ups on the board. Hartenstein, I don't mind. Bad matchup for him. Playable. And, yeah, I think that'd really be it. If we get everyone in, I still really like SGA, and I probably wouldn't get to this value. Kaysen would still be playable, but I think some other better value will open up at some point. All right, man, I want to get into these Sacramento guys at these price points because they're playing the starters 40 minutes a game, but they keep playing like really tough matchups. So it's unfortunate, but I still think they're firmly in play. Like the price point of DeMar seems a little bit too cheap. Keegan seems a little bit too cheap. Monk is fine. De'Aaron Fox at 7.5K. That price, it's just way too cheap. Sabonis is more priced right. It just sucks they're in such a tough matchup because no one's going to play these guys tomorrow. If you told me like 7.5K De'Aaron Fox was like unowned on a slate, I wouldn't believe you. So like, yeah, I like Fox. I like DeMar. Those would probably be my two favorites. Just annoying they're in a really bad matchup. All right, moving on to Minnesota, another team where we just could have elite value here. If Nas and Ant are out, we know what to do. I think McDaniels would still be in play at that price point. Rudy Gobert would look fantastic. NAW would be a phenomenal value. Mike Conley would be a great value. Rob Dillingham I would like once again quite a bit. Jalen Clark would have to play a decent amount. He'd be firmly in play as a punt. So Joe Ingles would get dusted off. So keep an eye on it, man. And then if we get like Ant out, Nas in, then I love Nas. You can't have recency bias. He would look fantastic. Still love Rudy Gobert. McDaniels would be fine. Still would really like the guards. And then if we get Ant in and Nas in, still love Nas. Ant would be really good. McDaniels would be way overpriced. I still think the guards would be fine. Like Mike Conley would still be playable. I probably wouldn't play Rob Dillingham. All right, last two games of the night, guys. Indiana, fantastic matchup. I really like the top three guys here in Halliburton, Siakam, Miles Turner. Halliburton, stat sheet stuffer, great matchup, has kind of found his form of late. She'll play mid-30s minutes as long as Utah can keep this game competitive. I think it's way too cheap in this matchup. So Halliburton looks great. Siakam's fine, although I prefer Halliburton. Miles Turner, probably the worst matchup of the three, going up against Walker Kessler, good rim defender, but still fine. I don't know if I get to this value, though. If you want to go to, like, Neesmith, I think it's okay. Like, min-price Mathurin, I think it's fine, but the minutes have been down of late since Neesmith and Nembhard are back. Yeah, not loving the value. All right, moving on to Utah. Fine spot here. Yeah, with everyone healthy, I don't think there's any priorities here. I think Markkanen would be my go-to guy. Like, this price point's another cheap price point. I think will be somewhat chalky tomorrow. Sexton's overpriced for my liking. Walker Kessler with everyone back is okay. John Collins should play around 30 minutes. I think the price point's a little bit too cheap. No priorities here, but I think they're all solid. I think Markkanen, John Collins, probably my favorite plays. Jordan Clarkson should see around 20 to 25 minutes. Okay value. Collier with everyone back. Meh. Yeah, it's tough. It's annoying. It's really annoying. And then another team, we could just have some piss value. So I don't expect Brendan Ingram to play. We'll see about Zion. We'll see about Hawk. If everyone's out here, I would suspect Jose Alvarado starts. He will be a piss missile. Brandon Boston Jr. off the bench would be a great value. Javonte Green would be playable. C.D. McCollum in a good matchup. He'd have to do everything for this team. I would really like Trey Murphy will be a solid play. Missy gets a bump with no Zion on the court. There will be a ton to like here if everyone's out. Now, if we get like, if we get everyone in for some reason, then I wouldn't be on the value as much. I still think you can consider like Zion, Trey Murphy, CJ. I really don't think Brandon Ingram plays tomorrow. And then if we get like Hawk in and Zion, Brandon Ingram out, then I really like Hawk, assuming no limit. He would just be ahead of Brandon Boston for me. Jose Alvarado would still suspect starts. He would look fantastic. Then CJ Trey Murphy would look good. And then I feel like I forgot what situations to go over. I think that's it. But you guys get the drill. If they're out, you slam probably one of the main Pels. Alvarado, some value. If Hawk is in, he'd be ahead of Boston for me. Alvarado would still be great, etc. Fantastic matchup here. Why is Jamal Murray's price still at 7.4K? I'm expecting him to be probably one of the highest owned plays in the slate tomorrow. I think he's amazing. Love him. I think Jokic is the best spendable on the slate. It's not close. Keep an eye on Russell Westbrook. If he's out, it's a bump to like Strother. And then Christian Braun would be fine. He would move in the starting lineup. I feel like everyone's going to chase that big game. So if he's chalky, I'll just easily fade him. And then Michael Porter Jr. in a great matchup. Pretty damn good. So decent amount to like here on Denver tomorrow. If Russ is in, Braun's out of play. Strother out of play. I still think Aaron Gordon's fine. His rates of late just been really, really bad. I don't know what he's doing. But, all right, yeah, that's going to do it for the slate. Hopefully you guys had a great night. I will talk to y'all on Reddit and in Discord for the rest of the night.